Mark told me that he wanted me to be personal, but to keep it very light. And so I decided I'd tell you a little story that I don't think I've told anyone else, but it's relevant because it also involved Ron Denham. Now, Rotary Foundation decided that we should do 3 projects with USAID, the US government aid agency. And each party would put up $1.5 million, so there'd be $3 million projects. And on the Rotary side, the committee of 6 had 3 Rotarians, including Ron Denham and me. And one of the USAID people on the committee was a lady called Dr. Murray, who was a very, no doubt, highly competent lady. I think her doctorate was in environmental service, but she was very doctrinaire and she was very theoretical, almost the opposite to Ron Denham, who was a very practical man. And one day we finished our meeting a little bit early, and we'd gone through the agenda, and I thought it might be an opportunity to be just a little bit naughty. And so I said to Dr. Murray, I've got the solution to bring water to millions, hundreds of millions of people in Africa. And she bit and said, yeah, okay, what is it? I said, well, I think USAID should fund a whole series of nuclear-powered desalination plants along the coast of Africa. And that would give a huge amount of water to a lot of people. When I mentioned the word nuclear, I could see the expression on her face changing, and her eyes opened a little wider. And I said, there's another environmental advantage in doing that, because we're concerned about rising sea levels. And if we turn a lot of it into fresh water, well, then we'll have gone both ways, won't we? And I decided to keep on going while I was in front. And I said, I know that people worry about nuclear waste, but how about you just put it into drums and truck it into the middle of Africa onto the main routes through north and south. And there USAID could fund what we would call pubs, some drinking places. And in the cement floors or the concrete floors of these drinking places, we'd mix in all the nuclear waste. And the theory behind that is that we would really achieve something worthwhile, because we are being told that the spread of AIDS in Africa is largely caused by truck drivers driving up and down. And if they all stand and drink their subsidised beer, which USAID has paid for, then they'll all get irradiated, and that'll fix the AIDS problem as well. So we've also fixed a major health problem. Well, by this stage, Dr. Murray was fairly considerably upset, to the extent, not, she wasn't breaking to tears, but I think I wouldn't have wanted her to be sitting too near to me because she'd have hit me with something. And she didn't talk to me for the rest of the day anyhow, so it didn't really matter. The projects themselves were quite interesting. We learned something from them that I think we Rotarians, and certainly Mark, would know very well from his own experience. We did 3 projects. The first of them was in the Caribbean, where we supported an American group that was putting in American water filters into the area. They're very efficient water filters, and I guess we got the good result. The only concern I had about that was that we know that in South America that Rotary has worked with local Rotarians and provided molds, and the locals have built the water filters. Usually a concrete water filter, but with the same system to clarify the water. and how much better it is to support locals in both the production because of the funding that it creates, but also in the ongoing maintenance, because if they've built them, they'll know what really makes them work. But the project, I guess, got a tick because it had brought water to people who really needed it. The second project was in Ghana, and the Rotarians of Ghana responded extremely well. And we got some great projects there. And the decision had been made within Ghana that they would allocate each of these projects to a Rotary club for them to keep an eye on. And that was fine for a while, but some of the clubs ended up with a project that was a 3 hours drive away. And after a year or 18 months, a lot of that enthusiasm tended to drop away. And I don't think we ever got a report from down the track which told us how sustainable the project had worked out to be. But they were good projects. I thought that was Rotary at work. The third place we went to was in the Philippines. And here a committee of past district governors was set up to oversee the operation and to work with the USAID representative. And you will know as club members that past district governors do tend to sometimes regard themselves as maybe a little bit more important than other Rotarians. So they decided on some projects jointly with USAID, and everything we did had to be jointly with USAID. And some of the projects I thought were excellent, but what happened was that the Central Committee and USAID went to Rotary clubs and said, this is the project that you've got to do. And I think we've all experienced or know of situations in Rotary where that doesn't work. Rotarians want to generate their own projects. They want to do the things that they want to do. And the clubs in many cases were reluctant and took a lot of pushing to get the work done. And then the other complication, and this will always happen if you rely too heavily on a bureaucracy, USAID moved the person who was responsible for working with Rotary, and she went to another country. And the new person that came in wasn't very interested. And so we had a situation of reluctant Rotary clubs and a USAID individual who really didn't care very much. And the lessons that we learnt from there were lessons that we as Rotarians, I believe, knew before we even started. But we worked with them, we learnt something. The projects did create something, but I think that if we'd given $3 million to Mount Bella, we'd have got a lot more value out of it. There has been a subsequent USAID Rotary combined series of projects, and Ron Denham fortunately carried through because he is the practical person. For those of you who don't know him yet, and will get to know him fairly soon, he really is, he's an intelligent, excellent, practical man in the water area. And I know Mark has worked with him and found him just how good he really is. So Ron has carried through into the second tranche. But I thought that would be my little contribution to the 5 minutes. And I don't get a Christmas card from Dr. Murray. So thanks.